and more Americans are being diagnosed with colon cancer. As a matter of fact, it's now the second leading cancer-causing death. Catching it early is vital. That's why the FDA approval of a new blood test to screen for colorectal cancer is big, and it's big and new in this medical world.
Yeah, that's right. Here to give a little bit more detail on this new test and how it works is our 9 Health expert, Dr. Kohli. Dr. Kohli, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What is the biggest challenge when it comes to colon cancer, and how might this test help bridge that gap?
Well, we are so excited about this in the medical community because it's filling this what we call a screening gap, where over 1 in 3 Americans that are eligible for screening don't go and get screened. And the worst part is often those are the younger Americans, the 40s, the 50s, because we're busy, we have kids. Colonoscopy requires you to take a full day off of work or requires you to do that prep. And so it's a big burden to get screened. So imagine having a simple blood test that you could just get your blood drawn, non-fasting, go and get that test checked, and it could help screen for colon cancer, not just do it for people at the age of 45, but perhaps even think about starting earlier, because we know that we're missing a lot of early cancers as well.
This test kind of takes the ick factor out of other tests. So talk about the logistics about this test.
So what's interesting, what are our other options? The colonoscopy, which requires the prep, and so you have to drink a laxative, clean out your colon, which means you have diarrhea for the day before, and then go in, they put a camera in your colon, and a lot of people get grossed out with that. Then there's the stool test, right, where you have to collect a stool sample, rub it onto a card, check for blood in it. A lot of people don't feel comfortable with that either. So this is a simple blood test. Your doctor orders it, and again, it's non-fasting, and what it's looking for is DNA from cancer cells. Now, here's the caveat. The cancer cells have to be big enough to release enough DNA into your bloodstream. So when we talk about sort of the accuracy of the test, that comes into play. But imagine if we could do this test every 3 years as a recommendation, starting at the age of 45. It would be a simple way, just like you get your cholesterol and your blood pressure and all that stuff checked at your annual, just get that blood test done.
Now, as Corey mentioned, it does remove the ick factor, which I do believe is the medical terminology for this. That is obviously a draw for people to want to do this test over the other. But there probably are questions regarding accuracy as opposed to the two.
And this is the second test, actually, a blood test. The first one didn't really take hold because it wasn't accurate enough. So the New England Journal of Medicine reported that if you have 100 people with colon cancer, the test will pick up 83 of them, which means it'll miss 17 of them. So that's something to keep in mind. And similarly, if you have 100 people without colon cancer, the test will accurately get a negative result on 90 out of 100 of them. So 10 of those people might get what's called a false positive. Now, that's for people who have colon cancer. If you're looking at precancerous lesions, which remember that colonoscopy can pick up because it sees kind of everything, it's a visual assessment, it's only got a 13% sensitivity. So out of 100 people, it only pick up 13 with precancerous lesions. So we think there's going to be a place for this potentially to augment the colonoscopy screening, but that's the gold standard. I don't see this replacing that anytime soon. I just see it sort of helping to the number of Americans that are getting screened on a regular basis.
With the FDA approval, does that help out with the medical cost of it?
Yes, and that's been the other barrier. So right now this is available kind of through lab testing for $895.
Wow.
Now that's too expensive for a screening test, right? But the FDA approval is going to hopefully lead to Medicare reimbursements, which then means that the commercial insurance companies might follow. But I have to be honest, unless you make a prevention screening test free, people are not going to do it because we already have people not doing it. And if you've got a hefty price tag on this, it's going to be a non-starter.
So just a few seconds left, but this is an important question that I want to get in here. When should people start screening or thinking about this?
So average American age 45, but if you've had a family history, you have risk factors, it's never too early to talk to your doctor about your particular risk, especially because we're seeing so many younger Americans dying from colon cancer, and talk about whether it makes sense to screen with this, screen with a colonoscopy, a sigmoidoscopy, the stool test, many different options. Just start that conversation so that you can explore those options.
Yeah. Dr. Kohli, as always, thank you so much for coming in. And you can find all of Dr. Kohli's appearances at 9news.com/Dr. Kohli.